For today's dish of paella, we will be making it for about 12 people. So the ingredients that I've already prepared are, well, the olive oil. I'll need a couple of cups of olive oil, 6 medium-sized Roma tomatoes, and 2 medium sweet onions, large to medium, a couple of large green bell peppers. I like to throw in some frozen peas. It seems like when we were in Spain, all the paella dishes had frozen peas, or had peas in them. And I'm going to be using 8 cups of arborio rice, a traditional rice for the paella. Along with that will be 8 cups of water. That was 4 cups of arborio rice. That's 4 cups arborio rice and 8 cups of water, and we may add more or less, depends on how the refrito turns out. I've got about a pound of link sausage, pork link sausage that's uncooked, so I'll fry that up just about as soon as I'm done with the vegetables. I've got about another pound of a beef sausage. This is already prepared. This is like a Hillshire Farms beef sausage and can go in almost at the last. I've got about half a pound of beef tenderloin, filet mignon, that I had been saving for this. I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. And about a pound and a half of shell-on shrimp that we will throw in. That'll be one of the last things we put in before we add the rice. And this will be everything that we combine with it, with a little bit of loving care, and hopefully have a nice dish of paella. And you get that warm, and then we'll start stir-frying, if you will, the vegetables. And what I've got is I have some tomatoes, some green peas, onions, bell pepper, and several other things that we'll be putting in here. And I'll get this back if I need it. Now that's got to come up to temperature, and then while that's doing so, I'll prepare another green pepper, get that finished up, and get my garlic out. Now I tend to use the prepared minced garlic rather than getting a whole garlic clove, and doing that you can do as you wish. And you can generally tell if the olive oil's up to spec if you get a bubble when you throw that in there. The edges are, but the center of that pan is not quite right. And we have an electric stove at this house. That lends itself to using this paella pan on the top of the stove quite well. You can use a paella pan or a flat skillet if you don't have one. And you can use it on your barbecue grill, as most people over in Spain do. Alright, I'll go ahead and add some onions to that. Standing back so we don't spray ourselves. We'll get rid of the glasses now. And that was a sweet onion that I like. And the Roma tomatoes. The rest of the bell pepper. And it's nice and pretty, isn't it? Okay, we need some garlic, and Wayne's recipe called for garlic cloves. Well, like I say, I like to use the minced garlic. And he calls for 4 garlic cloves. We're doubling the recipe, so that'll be about 8. And a half teaspoon equals a garlic clove according to this bottle. So I'm going to put about 8 in here. And 1 for Mother. Now we'll mix that in with the others, with the rest of the veggies, and allow that to imbue its flavor. We love garlic in this house. Now this pan, this paella pan, Paella, is something we picked up over in Spain. We picked up this one and a smaller size. Now the first meat that I'm going to throw in here is going to be the pork sausage. And again, this is raw, so we'll want that to cook longer than just about everything else. And give that about another 5 minutes before we do it. But that'll be the first paella I put in. I think the best paella that we remember, that I remember anyway, was up in Cordoba. We've gone up to view the Alhambra and those areas and stuff, and we stayed in a nice hotel, a hostel that was near a restaurant, and they had the paella. And I had paella and little baby pig. I love stuffed baby pig, and the people in Cordoba are well known for their pig, and the paella was just wonderful. And I really look forward to finding a recipe for it. And then my good friend Wayne came up for me. Of course, along with Wayne's recipe, he included some unsolicited information for sangria. And if anyone wants that, just get in contact with me and I'll let you have the recipe for that. But just a warning, it starts out with 3 cups of rum, 3 cups of cognac, and 3 cups of gin. So plus a couple of liters of red wine. So. Alright, so we're adding the pork to this now. Of course, when you work with raw pork in your kitchen, you want to make sure that you keep a germicide of some sort nearby. And clean everything up so you don't get poisoning. And we use a chocolate product called Basic G, and it works real well for us. We use it on just every surface in the house. It runs down. Okay, our pork is getting to where it's going to be all right now, and the veggies are pretty well cooked down. So at this stage we add the water, and again this is 8 cups of water. I have added broth in the past, but since I'm mixing seafood and pork and beef in this one, I'm just going to keep it with straight water. And now this has to come back up to temperature and start bubbling again before we add anything else. And we still have the meats, the rest of the meats, and the I guess I can add the peas now though. Now there's a special ingredient that makes paella, and it's called saffron. It's one of the most expensive spices available. And for this particular size with 12, a good healthy pinch and a half like that would be good. I'm just going to use the rest of this container so that I don't have to worry about it. You surely can't get enough saffron. And what the Spanish do to make that nice golden yellow glow on the rice, because you see it's a little bit gold right now, but that'll cook away with the white rice, is they add about to this mixture about 2 teaspoons of an azafran. They call it color, but it's natural, and it's typical in any Spanish market. You'll find that. And there's one. Now you get that on your hands and you're going to have yellow fingers for a while. Now, I choose to use this rather than yellow food color. Okay, we can see it's starting to bubble around the edges, and I'll move it around a little bit so that I've got different heats on the various burners, this electric stove, and allow it to warm up all over. And then when we're done with that, we're going to add our beef and the rest of our meats, and then lastly we'll add the seafood before adding the rice. Okay, we've been cooking this now for about another 10 minutes, and it has brought the temperature back up to where we have a good boil going. So I'm going to add the raw filet mignon. Add that around to it. And the beef sausage. And let these get up to temp. Now you see a lot of water in here, a lot of the liquid, and don't worry, that's what's going to absorb into the rice and make the rice a nice golden yellow and give it a nice fluffy texture that is unmistakably Spanish. Okay, we've been letting this boil for about 5-6 minutes, something like that, and it's about time to put the shrimp in. And you do that, and with the shrimp, you're going to let it cook another 10 minutes. Or, as most folks know, until the shrimp turn a nice pink color. These were frozen shrimp, and I thawed them last evening, and you can see they're already trying to absorb that yellow color. Isn't that nice? Okay, we're just about ready to add the rice, oddly enough. I mean, you would think that you would add it first, but no, this allows the moisture to be imbued into all of the meats and the seafood and everything. And now we'll add the, I'm not going to add all 4 cups of rice yet. I'm going to sprinkle it over, and I'll keep a cup in reserve to see what the moisture content looks like. And it should take a nice golden color as soon as the moisture works its way into the grains, various grains. Doesn't look like much, but that's actually going to expand quite a bit. Oh, this is looking good. Now we just have to get that rice to absorb all this liquid. And I think I am going to add the rest of the rice. Now the trick here is to get this succulent and soft without being mushy, and you do not want it to be hard. You don't want the hard grain. Now we tend to enjoy this dish at home with a bottle of wine. This happens to be one of our favorites right now that my brother-in-law Arthur had turned us onto. It's an Arboleda, and this happens to be a 2001 version Cabernet Sauvignon, and that would go quite nicely with this this dish. Of course, as my friend Wayne had suggested, so would sangria. As this moisture all gets absorbed into the rice and everything, you're going to find that the rice over the hot spots on your pan is going to try and dry up, so you've got to be careful with that. And scrape that up as much as possible and then intermingle it with the rest of the rice. Don't let it burn. Now you do want it to char a little bit. You like that little bit of color and fried texture to it, but you don't want it to burn. Do not let it burn. And I'm going to sample this, I think, and see how we're doing. Hey, we've let this cook down and everything. I've had to add water a couple of times because you don't want that rice hard. Now this happens to be, like I mentioned before, an arborio type rice, and in a pinch I've used like jasmine and some other long grain rices, but this is traditionally what they use. That's pretty well done, and turn everything off, and I'm going to slice up a little garnish. Anyway, this is paella. It's going to sit here for maybe another hour or so, absorbing the rest of that moisture in, and it's going to be ready to serve. And one of the traditional dishes of Andalusia, Spain. And I thank you very much for your attention.